All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're going to expose the kind of dark cyber surveillance reality that's hiding literally right beneath the glowing screens of our smartphones. Look, we all love free stuff, right? But in the digital ecosystem, the word free is actually one of the most expensive words in existence. Today, we're unpacking exactly how the attention economy operates. We'll be using deep dive research, academic studies, and official FTC reports to show you the invisible pipelines that are constantly siphoning your data.
Think about your phone right now. You've probably got an app on there that you downloaded without even a second thought, just because it didn't ask for any money up front. You opened the App Store, saw it was 0 cents, and just hit download. It feels like a gift, doesn't it? But really think about this for a second. Why would a team of developers spend thousands of hours and literally millions of dollars building a complex app just to give it away for absolutely nothing? To keep those servers running, the money has to come from somewhere.
And, well, that money comes from you, just not in a way you'd easily notice. Research into the mobile ad economy reveals a pretty staggering metric. A single human being, yes you, is worth about $1 to $3 a year in ad revenue to these companies. That's it. A whole human being, tracked for a whole year, is worth the price of a cheap cup of coffee. But when you multiply that $3 by hundreds of millions of users, you suddenly have a multi-billion-dollar empire on your hands.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is that you are not the customer in this transaction. You're the raw material. The app isn't the product being sold to you. You are the product being sold to advertisers and data brokers. Free was never the price, guys. It was the bait on a hook, perfectly designed to get a tracking device inside your most intimate personal space, your pocket.
To break this all down, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The hidden cost of free, 2. Background surveillance, 3. The data broker dark market, 4. Psychological manipulation, and finally, 5. Reclaiming your digital privacy. Let's get into it.
Starting off with Section 1, the hidden cost of free.
We really need to completely reframe how we view the software we interact with every single day. An app developer doesn't build it to be free out of the goodness of their heart. No way. They do it because a free app reaches thousands of times more phones than a paid one. The massive reach isn't the reward, it's the net. By living rent-free on your home screen, the app gains all the permissions it needs to quietly observe your daily habits, your location, and your preferences, day in and day out.
Which brings us to Section 2, background surveillance.
Now, to really understand this tracking, we have to peel back that polished user interface and look at the invisible, matrix-style code running underneath. When people worry about phone privacy, they usually panic about their microphone listening to their conversations. But the reality is way more sophisticated and, honestly, a lot less obvious. Apps are packed with third-party code modules called SDKs, software development kits. These silent trackers don't even need your microphone. Instead, they're quietly scraping your router MAC address, the names of the Wi-Fi networks you walk past, your Bluetooth connections, and permanent device IDs. By mapping the networks around you, they can pinpoint exactly where you are and who you spend time with, all without ever explicitly asking for GPS permission.
To put this into perspective, just look at the sheer scale of this surveillance. Take the NFL Game Center app, over 120 million installs. Tucked inside it is the VisBee SDK, which is quietly pulling router addresses, device IDs, and precise geolocation. And it's not just sports apps. Major, trusted brands apps like CNN and Fox Weather are doing the exact same thing. You thought you just downloaded a weather app, but what you actually installed was a homing beacon sharing your digital footprint with third parties. Because of all these hidden trackers, your personal data is bundled up and blasted out into the ad tech ecosystem. In what's called real-time bidding, your location, your habits, and your identifiers can be auctioned off to complete strangers up to 747 times in a single day. Literally every time you open a web page or an app, a silent millisecond auction happens in the background to sell the right to put an ad in front of your eyes based on this incredibly intimate profile they've built of you.
Moving on to Section 3, the data broker dark market.
So once this data leaks from your phone, where does it go? It flows directly into a massive, heavily obscured underworld. You might be thinking, well, I don't use social media, so I'm safe. Actually, scratch that. That's not how it works at all. Data brokers and massive tech platforms create what are called shadow profiles. By tracking the SDKs in your utility apps, your browser habits, and even the contacts of your friends who do use their apps, these companies stitch together an extensive behavioral profile of you. You're tracked and monetized even if you've never created an account, or if you religiously delete your apps. You become a digital ghost that they can continually profit from.
And this isn't just speculation. The Federal Trade Commission has investigated this ecosystem repeatedly,
As documented in their extensive reports, these massive companies run vast surveillance networks. They pull from government records, scrape the public internet, exploit incredibly lax privacy controls, and even bypass safeguards that are meant for kids and teens. The raw data is then just packaged up for corporate auction. We're looking at a system where the idea of consent is virtually a myth. You thought you gave consent to a single app, but your data was legally pillaged in the dark by brokers you've literally never heard of.
Next up, Section 4, Psychological Manipulation.
To keep this massive multi-billion-dollar data pipeline flowing, these platforms face one huge challenge. They have to keep your eyes glued to the screen. And make no mistake, this isn't an accident of design. It's completely weaponized psychology. Let's break it down. At 0 seconds, you get a visual push notification, that little red badge that triggers a sense of urgency. By 3 seconds, you've opened the app, and the infinite scroll begins, totally removing any natural cues to stop. At 10 seconds, you hit a variable reward. Maybe it's a funny video, maybe it's a like on your post. This unpredictable dopamine hit is the exact same psychological trick used in casino slot machines. And every 24 hours, the algorithm resets, learning what worked yesterday so it can hook you even faster today.
So what keeps us hooked the longest? Academic research points to a really dark truth. If it's enraging, it is engaging. To maximize your attention, these platforms deliberately amplify sensational, hyperbolic, and extreme content. Outrage and anger just keep human beings staring at screens significantly longer than joy or nuanced information ever could. You are being spoon-fed a diet of conflict simply because conflict is incredibly profitable.
And the cognitive cost of this is absolutely profound. Multiple academic studies show that excessive consumption of this algorithm-driven, high-stimulation content actually degrades our cognitive capacity. It damages our attention spans, lowers our problem-solving abilities, and severely impacts our memory. These apps aren't just taking your data, guys. They are actively reshaping how your brain functions.
Let's move to our final section, Section 5, Reclaiming Your Digital Privacy. The good news here is that you are absolutely not powerless in this matrix. There are immediate, practical actions you can take right now to disrupt this surveillance loop. First, go into your phone settings and ruthlessly audit your app permissions. Deny background location access, turn off Bluetooth sharing for apps that don't absolutely need it, and restrict local network scanning. Second, actively practice a digital detox. Set hard limits on your screen time to literally rewire your brain and break that algorithmic dopamine loop. And third, start transitioning to privacy-first, open-source apps and browsers whose business models do not rely on selling your digital soul. By taking these steps, you actively stop being the product. Ultimately, this whole massive system relies entirely on your passivity. So the next time you tap to open a free app, I want you to remember the true costs hiding right behind that glowing icon. Ask yourself, who is really in control of your digital life here? Will you let yourself remain the raw material for a multi-billion-dollar surveillance industry, or will you finally take back your attention? The choice, starting right now, is yours.